Welcome to Lead with Hope, the podcast where we explore the power of hope, leadership, and resilience in today's world. I'm Brandi Kelly, and each week I will bring you stories, insights, and actionable advice from leaders, innovators, and changemakers who are using hope as their compass to navigate challenges, create positive impact, and inspire others to do the same. Whether you're a seasoned leader or just beginning your journey, this podcast is here to remind you that no matter the obstacle, hope is the fuel that can drive transformation. So let's dive in and discover how you can lead with hope. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Lead with Hope podcast. Today I have the amazing Kevin McNicholas with me, and he is a social worker at Gillespie School District. He is also the founder of the Mental Health First Responders Network. And this week, he and I are fortunate enough to be at the SEL Summit here in Collinsville, where we're talking to educators about social emotional learning, well-being, and we are coaching them as they are putting together an SEL action plan to take back to their school. Now, Kevin, this is your fourth year in being a coach here. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience with this summit?
So I hope I live up to that intro, Brandi. Thank you. Came here as a participant 4 years ago and was really unsure about what direction this was going for me. I was actually kind of had one foot out the door coming in here, wanting to create our action plan for our district, kind of have it ready for my replacement and my other team members. And because of this conference, I kind of found a new purpose. I share now that I present, I've got a meme, and it's of a forest, and my wife who showed it to me, it says, "A fresh start is not a new place, it's a new mindset."
Absolutely.
So really coming into it with an attitude of gratitude. I know that rhyme and we hear it everywhere. We see it on social media, but it's really a situation of I wasn't feeling grateful. I was only looking at the negatives, and this helped me reframe what I was doing. I could get another job. I could get 5 other jobs, and bringing a bad attitude into something, I would have the same results.
Yeah, for sure. And this week, for the lead from the Spark newsletter, that's what I call my newsletter that I send out to my email list every week. I talk to them about finding hope even when it's hard. And that's what you're talking about. You're talking about a time in your life where you felt hopeless. You felt like you had lost your purpose and you were ready to do something different, completely scrap the social work gig and go a completely different direction. So other than the change in mindset, which is big, that's huge. But other than that, what practical, actionable strategies would you encourage people to put into place?
I think regardless of where you're at in your career, because at that time I was 17 years in, I was halfway to retirement, and the next 17 seemed like a really long, kind of insurmountable time. So much of what's worked for me is finding other things besides just the job. We have to have more to our lives, more to our world than just the job that we're doing. So mental health first responders has been a great supplement, a great sidebar to that, because in addition to it very much falls into the social work lane, but we're offering resources, we're offering mentoring, we're offering monthly professional development, and all of this has evolved. I just got added, we're over 500 members now. 7 years ago, we started with 3 of us, and it's really grown, showing the need for this, showing the need for support, because I feel like so many people feel like they're islands.
Yeah.
So my first big thing is have something besides just the job, because the job can get very overwhelming. Whether that's a hobby, whether that's volunteering. So much of, I think, what we're told, and I presented on this today, I feel like so much of the message we get is that we're supposed to love what we do.
Right.
I don't know a ton of people who actually really, really, really love what they do. I think people love elements of it. I mean, I love my students. I love my coworkers. I don't love being a school social worker a lot of the time because it's stressful. I mean, education is a dirty roll up your sleeves, and people are bringing their trauma and their needs and depositing them at your feet. So it's fulfilling, but we can't derive our only fulfillment from that. I feel like, sorry, this is a long answer to a short question, but so much of what's worked for me is spirituality.
Yeah.
I'm going to use Alcoholics Anonymous 12-step nomenclature. God as we understand him, God as we understand God, the universe, whatever you want to call your higher power, having some connection to something greater than ourselves and leading with that purpose, which will hopefully then develop into that passion. But if we lose that passion, I think we can reconnect to it by our relationships and relationships with God, relationships with those around us. Reading, love to read.
Yeah.
And I'm not reading great American novels. I'm just reading, quick stuff that's fun. That giving yourself kind of that mental break. Really being able to separate from work, my midday walk on the high school track.
Yeah.
At lunchtime, I'll go out there, I'll eat real quick and then head out to walk for a little bit and just kind of separate your mind. So I'm still there, but I'm thinking through the first half of my day, prepping for the second half. Working on our relationships, I think, with the people around us, with our family, with our friends, with our coworkers and colleagues, and maybe recognizing that our work family is amazing, but like any family, we need a little break from them because we see them all day, every day. So it's cultivating those relationships elsewhere too, I think is important.
Oh, there's so much in that answer. I mean, you talk about the spirituality, which mind, body, spirit, we have to take care of the whole being. We can't just separate one piece of that. You have to take care of the whole being. And I think that relationship piece, people leave jobs, they leave professions, they leave careers sometimes, not because of the job all the time, but sometimes it's just because it's not a good fit, right? You've got to find your people.
Absolutely.
You've got to connect with your people. And that may be the people you work with, but it also may be a group like mental health first responders. And just being intentional about that and taking care of yourself. If we can invest in ourselves, we're going to have a lot more to give to other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think we get lost sometimes thinking, my job is supposed to make me happy, or my family is supposed to make me happy, or all of this is supposed to make me happy. But let's look at ourselves, which is painful. It's not enjoyable. I talk to my students and my own children all the time.
Right.
Catharsis, painful release of feelings. We don't enjoy it, but if we can take that long, hard look at what is my role in terms of why these things aren't making me happy.
Yeah.
Because happy is a feeling and it's very changeable depending on what's going on. I might be happy the first day of school because I'm excited to be back and see my students and all that. But how happy am I feeling at, the end of October with the holidays around the corner when a lot of our, move-in students are having a tough time or people are not ready for the holidays. Let's look at what we can ground ourselves in because our jobs are not going to magically validate us and make us feel happy. We have to find that intrinsically rather than extrinsically.
In the mirror and really working on yourself. I think that's a gift that we can give to ourselves, but it's not easy. You're absolutely right. It's probably one of the hardest things we will ever do, but it's very important that we invest in our personal and professional well-being and growth. And hopefully, the listeners are going to get a lot of nuggets of wisdom from this podcast. And if there are people that want to get involved or want to check out the mental health first responders, is that just for social workers and counselors?
That is for anyone who's interested.
Okay.
When I started out, I started my career in Oswego, Illinois with, it's now defunct, but Kendall County Special Education. My employer, Elliot Lenoff, was a wonderful man, wonderful mentor. And I called it Mental Health Disneyland because we had 13 psychs and 13 social workers in Kendall County at that time. We got together, we had mentoring, the veterans mentored the new people. And so we had just a ton of support.
Yeah.
Whereas when I came here and I came to my first district in this area, it was the me show. So I didn't have other than, people in other districts who I could contact, but we didn't have anything real formalized. So I've created this and I understand mental health is in the title, but I feel like we're looking at teachers. We're looking at people in the community who are working in agencies and caseworkers because I think people feel very isolated in doing this and that leads very quickly to burnout.
Yep.
One more thing, Brandi, that I would love to add if that's okay.
Absolutely.
I feel like the people in our lives who should mean the most to us sometimes get the least of us, get the least best of what we have to offer because I feel like we take some of those relationships for granted. I mean, if
Sure.
I've had a rough day at work with other people's kids, my own children deserve the best of me. So on the way home, thankfully, I have a 30-minute drive.
Mhm.
So I'm listening to, I'm not even kidding you, I'm listening to Metallica, I'm listening to like some heavy, heavy stuff, and it does kind of help clear my mind. But that for me is intentional time to say, I have to flip social worker switch off,
Right.
and then I have to flip dad and husband switch on
Mhm.
because I love all of them and they deserve the very, very best for me. And those relationships are the most important. They're the foundational relationships to me, and I don't want them to get the remainder of what I have to offer.
Right.
And that's a balance. I will
It
be the
is.
first person to apologize and say that not everyone gets the best of what I have to offer, but
No.
we're at least trying.
And it's not easy either. I mean, somebody today was talking in one of our breakouts, and she said PILY. She's got a sign in her garage, and those letters are on that sign. And all that means is when she pulls in her garage, it's a reminder people inside love you.
That's cool.
And I think that if we can keep what you just said at the front of mind, no matter what else is going on in our life, those are the people who are going to be in your life while you're a social worker,
Hmm.
after you retire, no matter what you're doing in your life. And they are the people that, if something were to happen to you, God forbid, um, they're going to be affected by it most.
Absolutely.
And so we have to invest in those relationships
Oh,
first and
truly.
foremost.
My daughter the other day said to me, we were talking about social work and
Mhm.
all of that, and she has an interest in going into education, probably not this realm of it, but we were talking and I said, there's so much nonsense, so much nonsense that goes into this. And she said, yeah, but it's not nonsense to the people you helped.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was a light bulb moment for me where it was like,
Yeah.
it's worth dealing with what we have to deal with
Mhm.
to help other people to be able to, I mean, it's very much a sharp counterpoint of what I've done all day
Mhm.
in that situation to the situation that we're blessed to have been able to build in our own family among our extended relatives, my in-laws, and Laura has a very, very tight extended family too. So it's very much it's a blessing and it's also a responsibility.
Absolutely. It's a big responsibility. And you remind me of today, I opened my phone after I got here, and a former student of mine had messaged me on Facebook. And she said, Mrs. Kelly, I am just reaching out to you because I remember when I was in junior high, on those days that I said wanted to drop out of school, you said to me, when you graduate from high school, I want to hear from you. She said, and I remembered that. And guess what? I graduated from high school.
Awesome.
And the reason I bring up that story is because that belief that I had in her, that I voiced into her, only I could do that.
Hmm.
You could only do that for the students that you work with. They need us.
Absolutely.
They need each individual person that I believe God has placed in their life
100%.
for a reason and for a season. And it is such a powerful purpose.
It is.
But like you said, it's also a big responsibility that I know we don't take lightly. None of us
No,
take it lightly, but we're blessed to be able to do the work that we do and
absolutely.
work with the kids that we work with and the educators we
Oh,
work with.
absolutely.
And one of the activities we did here this week is everybody stood in a circle and they just said the word that spoke to them. And I know several of the people said hope.
Mhm.
They feel more hopeful being at something
Sure.
like this. And it is hard to hope sometimes, especially when you have been hurt or you have tried to do things and it didn't work out, or there have been negative circumstances thrown at you. But it is really invigorating to me to see that people can come together. We can pour into them. We can offer professional development like this, and they can hope again.
Absolutely. It's an amazing thing. And something I said to the group today as I presented, no one can reach your students like you can.
Absolutely.
Other people can get to them,
Mhm.
but nobody's going to have a third grade teacher like you. Nobody's going to have a social worker like you. And that's an amazing story. And how cool that she graduated. That's one stop on her journey, but you had part in that, and how very validating for her to say, yeah, you had part in that. That's super cool.
Yeah. And I can't wait to get back on Facebook tonight, because when I responded to her, I said, okay, what's next for you? And I hope we'll stay connected.
Absolutely.
I think that is such a cool part of what we do as educators, is that there are a number of kiddos that you and I are both connected to today that we would have never met had it not been for this profession. So sometimes it's hard to hope in the hard places, but there is always that beacon of hope. We just have to look for it. So Kevin,
Absolutely.
as we end today, tell the listeners how they can connect with you.
Sure.
And maybe one more tidbit of advice or wisdom, or just some closing remarks.
Okay, absolutely. You're welcome to Google me. My email, if you want to write it down or type it in, is KMCNICHOLAS@CUSD7.org. Send me an email. I'll add you to mental health first responders. And one more tidbit I would say is not only to take care of you, but reach out to someone just as Brandi's student reached out to her, to be able to say, hey, you meant something to me. And that may, even if it's somebody that you haven't talked to since elementary school, or you had a, friend from high school who you were scrolling social media and suddenly, name popped up or something like that. Make that connection, because we live in a very isolated world in a lot of respects. We're around a lot of people and a lot of noise, but I think people feel the loneliest sometimes in a big group. Everybody else is, talking, mingling, having fun, but me. So reach out to somebody, and it may turn into a great renaissance of an old relationship. So
great advice, Kevin.
Thank you, Brandi.
I look forward to hearing from you as you listen to this episode of Lead with Hope. So if you have gotten value out of this, please drop a comment, like the show, subscribe, and as always, keep living with purpose and leading with hope. Until next time, friends, take care. Thanks for tuning in to the Lead with Hope podcast, where we share stories and strategies to help you rise, lead, and redefine what's possible. If today's episode inspired you, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and leave a review. Your support helps us reach more leaders like you who are ready to lead with heart, purpose, and resilience. Don't forget to visit sparkhopeedu.com for resources, upcoming events, and tools to help you build a culture of hope in your life and leadership. We're so grateful to be part of your journey. Until next time, keep leading with hope.